Okay, part 3 of the drill press video. In part 2 I left off where I did the lead screw on the right hand side for the table, the right hand drill side table lead screw. I'm going to start this video by showing you that I've got the one for the left hand side off. I'm not going to show you redoing it like I did on part 2, but here we go, part 3 drill press. Just a little shot here. This is the lead screw off the left hand side for the table on the drill press. I've taken it off and I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the right hand side to refurbish it, to get it to work good again. But I'm going to do it off camera. I'm not going to show you. You've already seen what I've done to it. I just want to let you know that I've got it off and I will be doing that. Okay, as I had told you in a previous video, I pulled the lead screw for the table on the left hand side off, and off camera just cleaned it up. I didn't have to put it in the lathe and I'm not going to say turn down, but clean up those shaft ends like I did with the other one. I was just able to clean this up. I took the parts off, the castings off, and sandblasted both of them. Cleaned up the lead screw, cleaned up the gears. I did have to sand this pin down a little bit and clean that out with that, clean the inside out with the sanding disc on the drill like I did with the other ones. But basically it was just a matter of cleanup rather than kind of getting it to fit right like I had to with the other one. One of the things that Adam had talked about in a comment in the last video was that the tables can spin. Actually, I loosened it up and took the table right off, both of them. One thing that I want to kind of show you is that there is a number there that I found. It's TT47, and this TT or T keeps repeating itself. Now, it's not always the same number, but I'm kind of assuming the TT is maybe the model and that maybe it's TT47, unless they are part numbers for the individual parts. But I'll show you that in a minute. What I do want to show you is the pile of chips that I got out of this post in here when I pulled this head off. This is the one that they mainly used, but look at the pile of chips that I got out of that thing. Now, those chips were probably produced by Adam and his father and possibly even his grandfather. Just a whole pile of chips. But let me take you over and here's another number that I found, and that is T. It's very hard to read because it looks like it's been hit with something. That looks like TT7, and I got the same thing over here, TT7. So I'm kind of wondering if it isn't part numbers for the individual, numbers for individual parts. TT7 kind of corresponds with TT7 on this part. I haven't stripped this off, but it's very hard, and that is 47. That's easy to see. So TT47 here, TT47 over there. So I'm starting to think it's parts, individual parts for the thing. I wonder if the TT stands for Twin Tower. No idea, but I'll bring you back. Okay, this is a table from the left-hand side, and what I've done is I've tried to clean it up. I just used the wire wheel on it. I used the orbital sander on it too, and then tried to use like a Scotch-Brite, orbital Scotch-Brite on it too. It's pretty was pretty dirty, pretty rusty, just surface rust though, not pitted rust, just surface rust. But I got it cleaned up. I'm happy with it the way it is. There's some stains on it that probably won't come out, but I don't really care about it. I tried to get the sides too. I don't know whether you can see it, and let me just flip it up here. I also cleaned up the spindle on it that sits down into the housing to support it, so it swivels a little better. I'll clean up the support arm and the receptacle for that spindle in there too, so that it turns better. The next project is doing the other one. Okay, so here's a table off of the right hand side. Again, it's stained, but you know, I'm not doing a complete restoration on this. I'm just cleaning it up, gonna paint it and put it to use. So I'm not looking to do a full restoration or get the tables down to bare metal where they're not stained. So good enough for me. Again, I cleaned that spindle up, and I'm not really sure if you can see it. I cleaned that spindle up and underneath the air. And what I'll do is I'm going to be cleaning the two table support arms that come out. While the table's off, I'm going to get these things all cleaned up, stripped off, probably a coat of primer on them before I put the tables back on. Might even, before I put the tables back on, probably will paint it, the final color. So I'm gonna do that, but I'll bring you back. Okay, so I got this table support cleaned up and just sprayed some primer on it. I think it looks pretty good like that. Again, and I really want to emphasize this. This is not a restoration project. It's just clean up, get it working, and so that I can put it to use type of project. But there's that. Okay. Drill press item. What it is a tightening bolt. This one happens to be off of the table. Underneath the table, on the arm that comes out that supports the table for the heads on the drill press, there is a bolt underneath it so that you can tighten, untighten it, and swivel the table. The bolt goes in right here. Allows you to tighten, untighten the table. There are also back here on these things, as you can tell, that thing is missing. The one over there is missing also. What I'm gonna be doing is, as you can tell, the bolts are there, the bolt with the flat part on it. What is missing is the handle portion of it. So I'm going to be making it. Now, I've tried to film this twice, and one camera, the battery ran out. The other, this camera, I have no idea why it didn't get filmed. But it's in the lathe. I had a piece of 1-inch stock around, and I put it in the lathe and just I cut it off in the bandsaw, Excuse me while I loosen this thing. I cut it off in the bandsaw, and I just put it in the lathe and surfaced it. What I'm gonna do is come over on this end of it, and this, you can see that it's rounded over. I'm not sure whether I can do that round over, but basically it's just a taper on it. I'm gonna put that on there, then I'll take it over to the mill. You know, the other thing is, if you look closely, and it's fairly worn off of there, they have yeah, we'll cut this part out. They have knurled the handle on that, and I do have a knurling tool for the lathe, so I'm gonna try that. But anyway, okay, so this clip is gonna be cut up. Somebody came in, and I forgot where I left off about the knurling. I probably gonna knurl it, bevel that edge over. I don't have a radius tool to do it, so I'll just put a chamfer, taper cut on the end of it, and then take it over to the mill and run an end mill through and make that notch in it. But I'll bring you back when I start doing that stuff. Okay, so another thing that I've done on this drill press is, I told you in a previous video on the drill press that I was going to paint it gray with probably some black accents. Now, it's discussed in another video. I had painted one of the covers. I've actually got the other cover over in the bead blaster, and well, I'm probably processing this video. I'll be bead blasting that. But one of the things, after I primed that one table support, I painted that flat black too. And that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to paint the base gray, and there's going to be black accents, like the pulley covers off of the top of the thing, the table support legs, and there'll probably be other things. Probably maybe some of the motor, or some of the other things will be painted black, just to accent it, to kind of break up a one color paint scheme. And I think it'll look better that way, black and gray. And I'm still debating whether to keep that gold accent on those things, but I don't know. I might change that to gray. You know, I might take that gold off of there and change it to gray. But anyways, I'll bring you back. This will probably be the end of part 3.